I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
And if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that thumbs up button real hard, and make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks.
And also click that little bell for all of the notifications.
Whee!
Always remember,
If Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it.
hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
It is another episode of the Marks Read, but this time we're going to be...
I just like the way you said that. They're weed.
For some reason, in my mind, I was picturing Mr. Reed. Mr. Reed. Oh, man. Liar, liar. Great movie. But we are going to be reading our letters to WB, to Mr. Hamada himself. Yeah, so we hope you enjoy it. That's the episode we got for you today.
I just thought it'd be interesting to kind of talk about these letters that we sent out, that maybe there's something to it that you want to hear. I mean, I posted mine up on social media, but you can't read my fucking handwriting if you wanted to. I thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of read these and just get everybody's feedback. Maybe people could also, maybe put in a synopsis of theirs in the comments below, and everybody could share what they wrote to the heads of WB that's going to hit the shredder at any moment. So, we'll let Shane go first.
All right. So, I guess...
He wasn't ready. All right. So...
All right. So, I started with, shockingly, Dear Mr. Hamada.
Well, no shit.
First, I would like to thank you for taking the time to read this, as I'm sure there were several thousand letters to go through. I'm writing you today in regards to the Justice League version that we did not see in theater. You may have heard it referenced as the Snyder Cut, or you may be familiar with the campaign Release the Snyder Cut, hashtag Release the Snyder Cut. However, to me and thousands of others, it is more than just a campaign. Justice League was supposed to be the third installment of one of the most groundbreaking and uniquely beautiful trilogies that we have seen in recent years. We live in a time where satisfaction must be delivered in an instant, and unique ideas are few and far between. What Snyder was able to accomplish with building a universe in which each character had relatable motives, detailed backstories, and incredible arcs is nothing short of astonishing. Growing up, I've always had a large connection to DC Comics, specifically to the character of Superman. However, growing up in the 1990s, mainstream attention was focused on Batman for DC, Spider-Man and X-Men for Marvel. I waited for the day another Superman film would hit the big screen. In 2006, Superman Returns was released, and although it had a nostalgic feeling, there was still something missing. Enter Man of Steel in 2013. Zack Snyder brought a new and unique take to a character that I had not imagined possible. Though I had a deep connection with the character, Zack Snyder took it to an entirely different level. Zack Snyder continued his layered, realistic approach with Batman v Superman, and yet again added more dimensions to iconic characters. His approach has been divisive, but arguably that's what makes it so memorable. All we ask as his fans is to be provided the opportunity to see Zack Snyder's full vision completed, to see the established arcs realized and new ones created. We ask, Mr. Hamada, for you to release the Zack Snyder version of Justice League, the true version. Thank you for your time and your consideration. Sincerely, Shane, beep, Comic Movie Marks.
Yeah, right. Like your last name's fuck. Anyway. All right. That was pretty sweet. I didn't know what Shane's was said, so that was actually very touching. Much more personal than mine. Mine's more of a grief counselor fucking memo. Dear Mr. Wow.
Right off the bat.
Oh man, I failed right off the bat. Dear Mr. Hamada, hashtag Release the Snyder Cut is a movement of passion and loyalty, one in which fan edits have overloaded and crashed servers, gained over 178,000 petition signatures, created a fundraising campaign in support of suicide prevention, and delivered thousands of letters to your desk. Hopefully. Snyder's fresh take on the superhero genre should not be disemboweled or buried from its fans. A movie told by a visionary director shouldn't be forced to replicate another company's formulaic system. It's essential these comic book characters aren't constrained to one particular era. That is the core value of a comic book character. They transcend generations and eras. Mr. Snyder's telling a story that fans identify with, like the personification of Superman, who can't be both all good and all powerful, and struggles with the weight of his choices. This is the epitome of humankind. Unlike other comic book movies' forgettable protagonists, Snyder's adaptations of DC characters are still relevant and still talked about years after the movie's release. The studio essentially killed Cyborg when he was a lackluster and barely relevant character in Justice League, after Snyder said Cyborg is the heart of the film. The character we were left with was barely a sip of water. Unfortunately, this opportunity to create a meaningful character was taken from Mr. Snyder. Snyder's characters, and ultimately the franchise, were turned into one thing he avoided in filmmaking, with his wife and producer Deborah Snyder saying, "Our films have always been polarizing and always been risky choices, and that's exciting for me. I would rather make a film that people talked and argued about than a film that no one cared about."
You're goddamn right.
As a very loyal DC fan, I ask for Mr. Snyder's vision of Justice League to be released, just as fans of Superman 2 asked for Richard Donner's cut of Superman 2 to be released, in an attempt to remedy the awful theater release. But please don't make the same mistake and wait 25 years. And just as the Donner cut corrected the wrong, Superman fans, please release a new cut. If former President Jim Caldwell can answer the fans, here's hoping you can do the same. Thank you. Sincerely, Matthew Fuck and co-host of the world famous comic movie Marks.
Nice.
That was kind of our letters. That's kind of our rough take on what we felt about, this movement and what we wanted from the Snyder Cut, and hopefully what we get from Walter Hamada or Kevin Tsujihara, one of the individuals, one of the executives of WB. Hopefully we get some kind of answer. I feel like there's some people out there that are kind of misinterpreting what the Snyder Cut snail mail campaign was about. We're not expecting to necessarily get the cut out of it. We just want answers. Mm-hmm. And I think we can at least get some answers from somebody. If there's a legal issue that's holding it back, or if there's other issues holding it back, I think we can at least get an answer. And I think that's the most important thing at this point, is to get an answer. Because right now, Zack Snyder and WB are silent. At least if some letters arrived, thousands hopefully, at WB, this would persuade them to be at least acknowledge the situation. We don't need some anonymous person that doesn't want to give their name saying, "Oh yeah, we're not doing it." Because that means it's not official. If you can't give your name to it, it's not official and it's not WB's point of view. Mm-hmm. Or WB is scared to give their point of view. We need to know why, because that's the important thing. And I feel some people kind of didn't do this or didn't participate in it because they felt it wasn't going to accomplish the Snyder Cut. And I felt that's kind of like misunderstanding what the point was. The point is to get answers.
Yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the Snyder Cut eventually continuing just to draw attention to it and to say, hey, we're here. And as something that Matt had brought up on previous episodes is that if you can send thousands of letters to a desk to show, hey, you're at least going to sell this many copies, and continue to show, to drive attention towards the whole campaign. And, and it's probably not, nothing is going to happen overnight. We may not get a response overnight. We're definitely not going to get the Snyder Cut overnight, but it's just a part of the process. And absolutely, as Matt said, just some sort of answer. We just want something, some sort of acknowledgement of what could possibly happen.
And I think, again, that is the most important point of this campaign, this snail mail campaign.
Yep, absolutely. And as Matt said, I think it'd be really cool if people can either remember their entire letter or summarize it, throw it in the comments. It'd be really cool to read what everyone else wrote. Fortunately for me, I typed most of it up on notes on my phone, so I had it all. It was perfect for this episode. So
yeah, I typed mine out before I wrote it because I wasn't gonna just fucking write it.
Right.
This brain don't work like that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
damn, dude, my hand hurt after that. I just realized my hand is out of shape. Like, not only is my body, but like my hand is like I started losing circulation after like on the second page.
Yeah.
Write it! Write it or I'll break it off!
And then I got my second wind. I was like, got some Gatorade and got the second wind and started powering through. Oh man. It took everything I had just to keep the fucking thing straight.
Yeah.
Just to keep it straight.
Thank God I have no plans on going back to college because there's no way I'd make it. I'd be the guy with a laptop trying to type and take notes.
Well, I think you would be outdated then because I think everybody's got fucking iPads and
Probably.
fucking Google Watches or some shit.
Yeah. Hey Siri, record this.
Yeah. And they just fall asleep while the teacher talks
Yeah,
so they can listen
exactly.
to it later. Hopefully that gives some people a little bit of encouragement. Hopefully we get an answer. So that's the key, and let's hope for the best.
Yep.
In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. You're one of very few to make it to the end.
Yes, thank you very much.
Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Comic Movie Marks Podcast and hit the notification bell. You know, all these fucking YouTube channels say this shit, so I'm going to say it now.
Yes, it's perfect. And if you want to hear our full podcast, you can check out our podcast on iTunes or any other podcast subscription service.
Make sure you subscribe. Thanks again.
You